What's going on, everybody? Going Yooper here, and we are going to do some video editing. I'm going to show you what I use as an editor, and again, I'm not the best editor out there, so this isn't like here's how to become a professional editor, because I'm not that great at it. I use a free program that works really well, and it was very easy for a person like me to learn how to use. There's tons of videos on YouTube about how to use this editor and do different things with this editor, and that's why I chose it, because I'm not the best with these computers. Technology and me just aren't the best. They really are. But I'm learning, and I'm just going to show you guys what I use and how I do it. And maybe that will help some of you out there. Maybe some of you are like me and a little computer illiterate. You know. Before we do that, I want to say I hope you all have an amazing day. Don't let the day dictate your day. We're all going to run into bumps along the way in the day, throughout the day. And it's what you do with it. You know what I mean? Just keep it positive. It's so amazing the strength you can get from positivity. We all are going to have some negative stuff happen. It's what you do with it that defines who you are. You know, we all make mistakes. It's how you correct those mistakes. You know, so don't let the day dictate you. Dictate the day. Let's get going. Okay, so let's get started. I use Hitfilm4 Express. You can find a free download for it. There is a paid version that you could use that gives you a few extra things that you can do, but it's not necessary for basic, you know, editing, which is what I do because I don't know much about them. So you double click on it, it will bring up this right here. In the very top left over here, you will click on New. And down here, you will click on Start Editing, and it will, I believe default will set it at these settings anyway. So that I'm pretty sure about, but there are so many videos on YouTube to tell you how to use Hitfilm4 Express, from doing intros to just a whole lot of things. Really easy to do. I actually had the screen up telling me how to do my intro and just went by it step by step. Did the first part, clicked back over here, did it, went back, watched a little bit more, went back, and it seemed to work for me. So you're going to want to right over here where the little cursor is moving around and hit Start Editing. And when you hit Start Editing, it will bring up this screen right here. And I will go over some of the basic stuff. I'll do a whole little setup here real quick. So we're going to go to Import because we want to import the stuff we are going to do. And I have a little file over here on my desktop that holds my intro, so I always go right there. I always put the Sam Jeffers Foundation information at the end, and we have my outro. So then I'm going to go to my pictures because that's where I keep my files, and I have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of videos, most of which don't ever hit the big screen, you know, but you know, I videotape everything. If you want to do a daily vlog, video everything. I bring my camera everywhere. So we are going to go to the 12th, 312, so I'm going to find that real slow, like 312:18 right here, and this is the first part of the video, and this is the second part of the video, and we will put this together. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is by the way, you just grab by left clicking on the picture and hold it down and drag it right over here, and that's how you bring it over. Then you're going to want to do the same thing with the first part you want to put in the video, which is the intro for me. So I will click on it and drag it down here to this is my work line, and I will put it all the way up against the far left side there and let it go, and it will ask me if that's the sequence and settings differ from the clips and stuff. I go yes, that's fine, because we will be able to correct that. I will show you what I mean. As you can see, this takes up the whole full screen, and you have this little bar right here that you can kind of move back and forth and go to the part you want to do your cuts and stuff with. You also have these little buttons right up here that will kind of do it in little slow motions by clicking on it, so you can get exactly where you want it to be. My intro is right where I want it to be, so I'm just gonna bring it down, and then I'm gonna grab my first piece of footage, and I will grab it and drag it on down here. So now that I dragged it down there, I will go over the top of it, and as you can see, it doesn't fit in the screen. That's because it was done in a different video setting, frames per second, but you can change that. Now you can grab this by left clicking and holding it down and move it around to where you want it. We want it right in the middle where it starts out at, and then these little corners here, you can bring it in real small, you can make it fit the size of the screen, you can make it, you know, however you want to do it. I always just format it to fit the full screen, and I'll let it go. And now the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to see where I want to start my video. So we will play that.
What's going on here?
Okay, so I see that it takes me a couple seconds before I get to talking, so I'll bring it back and I'll start it again. And I'll stop it right before I start talking. And down over here where you see my cursor rolling around, there's a little line. And that will kind of make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. Okay, so I know I want to cut it right there, so I will take this little spot where you see my cursor is, that's the razor blade, that's what will cut it. So I will click on that, see it's highlighted blue, maybe purple, I'm pretty sure it's blue, and then I will come over to this line that's going across, and I will just click on it, left click on it, and that will divide it. And then I will right click on it, and I'll go up to delete, and that will pull it away. So now I got to pull this film over here to meet this one. So I'm going to go back over here to the left side, and this is how you do that. This little symbol right here, you will click on it, you will come over to the video that you want to move back over, you will left click on it, hold it down, and just slide it over to meet the other one. So now I cut out the stuff I didn't want to use.
What's going on, everybody?
And it goes right into it where I start speaking. So now I will minimize this back down by using this little slider bar here, and I will bring it towards the end where I end up stop talking, and I want to cut off any of the extra part where I may be reaching for the camera or any part that I won't want to use. And let me just turn this volume down on it a little bit so it isn't too loud. Should have did that beforehand, sorry. But then I'm going to go ahead and play it, and I'm going to try and stop it right where I end that scene.
Country, which is really awesome. I have to pump some gas. I'll be right back with you.
Alright, so I kind of stuttered that up there at the end, said I want to pump some gas, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm going to stop it right after say, well, I got to pump some gas. That way you don't hear me doing the whole stutter thing. I'm actually going to turn this back up a little bit so you can hear it. So I'm going to pull it back a ways from that a little bit and let it run through.
Everybody wants to take a cruise.
And I know I want to stop it right where I say pump
so
some
you're really
gas.
Excited?
Yeah, we'll be the first one I've ever gone on.
First cruise, huh? Have you ever been out of the country?
Well, it's a little too far. Let me get a little bit closer to the end there. And some of the faces you will catch yourself making and while you're editing is just awesome. It's just too funny.
I'm out of the country, which is really awesome. I have to pump some gas. So
See, now I'm just a little off. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to make this a little bit wider, and I'm going to try and get it right where I say at the end of where I say gas.
you're right back with you.
And this part can be a little bit tricky getting it at the right spot. Oh, I didn't bring it back far enough.
It's really awesome. I have to pump some gas.
So I got some pumps and gas, so I stopped it right at that, and then I'm going to go right back here, and I see where my mouth is moving up and down. I know I'm finishing it right there, so I know that that's a good place to cut it. So I'm going to come back over here to my razor blade. I'm going to hit the cut. I'm going to delete again by right clicking on the blue highlighted piece that I want to delete. Hit delete. Move this cursor back some. I'm going to make it small again so that I can grab my next piece of footage and drag it down there right up against where I left off. And again, I'm going to move the cursor over on top of it, fit it so it fits my screen. And
First time on a
play.
cruise and the first time out of the country, which is really awesome. I have to pump some gas. Okay, got it.
Okay, so I'm going to make this a little bigger so I can see this more space between here. And I'm going to kind of back it up. See, I'm not talking, my lips ain't moving. So right before they start moving, I'm going to want to get it closer to that. Use my little cutter tool, razor blade right here. Cut it. Right click on it. Delete it. Come over to my little drag tool. Click on it. Drag it over there. And again, where you see it cuts off, when I put the effects in there where it switches to the next view, it will kind of clean some of that up for you. So I will put it down low again, and then I will get to the end of the video, and I will try and stop it right where I end the video, which is usually see me by.
Hit the little notification bell, let you know when I upload a video, and as always, I love you all. See me bye.
I'll stop it. I'll use my little cut tool again. I'll come over and cut that end off of there because that's just dead air. I'll back this up a little bit, and then I will go to my Sam Jeffers info that I put at the end of every video, and I'll stick that in. And again, I will have to resize that just where I want it. I'm also going to bring it open as it does run a little bit too long, so I'm going to trim a little off of that. And then I'm going to grab my outro and drag it down. And it doesn't need to go on for as long as it does. It only has to go on for a little bit, so I will just put it right about there. And I will cut it. I will highlight the area that I want to delete, and I'll get that out of there. So now we're going to want to start putting some of the effects in. For that, you're going to want to kind of make it a little bit bigger with this little swing bar down here that kind of widens it up for you. And that way, I'll show you why in a second. So you're going to come up here to the top where you see the little cursor circling around and hit effects. And you're going to come down here to transition videos. Now there's a lot of different little things in here that you can mess with and check out. I suggest you definitely go look at different tutorials on YouTube for Hitfilm4 Express, because they will help you immensely. So I'm going to go down here to transition videos, double click on it, and these will be the different things I can do in transitions. You have dissolve, you have additive dissolve, cross dissolve, and dither dissolve, and that just is, it's things you can mess with and figure out. I always use at the end of my videos, I use the fade to color, which will fade to black, which just kind of shallows it out. So I put it in, I grab a hold of it, left click, hold it down, and drag it down to where I want it, right between those two videos. And I'll back it off of here, and you will see what that will do. See how it kind of faded to black and then went to that? I usually do that on both of my ending pieces, so I will do that as well on the other end, and that will fade to black as well. So we will just look at that all together. Goes to Sam Jeffers, gives you some information about that, and then it will fade to black and go to my outro. So now we got that part down, I will use this little swing bar down here and minimize it again, and I will go back to the next piece that I got to put a cut in, which is right here. And I will go back to the little swing bar, bring it back up so I can see. Here, let me show you what happens if you don't. If you keep it real small like this, and on this one we're going to do a zoom, a cross zoom. So our double click on the zoom, it will bring up the two different zooms I have. I'll grab a hold of this, keeping the left button, mouse button clicked down and holding it and dragging it over here. If you can see that, it just shows a little tiny line, and you can be off a little bit. So what I like to do is swing it up to a wider frame so that I can actually see that I get it in the right spot. So I'll drag it over there and boom, right in the middle. Alright, and what that will do is do a little zoom into the next piece after I get the gas. Let's see how it came out.
Danielle's first time on a cruise and the first time out of the country, which is really awesome. I have to pump some gas. Okay, got the gas. So a couple more questions.
So it zooms in and goes in. That isn't the best cut in the world either, so don't get me wrong. I'm not the best at this. I'm just showing you how I do the editing. So I have one more split to do where I got to put a transition in. So I will go over to that split by dragging this little bar right here over to the closer to the spot that I want to do the split on, which is right here, the transfer. And then I will also pick, say I want to do a split or a different motion. I have push, slide, and we'll take a look at those real quick. We have the split right here. We'll bring this back over here and we will just see how that looks.
What's going on, everybody?
As you've seen, it's split open from the middle outward. So if you want to get rid of that, you don't like it, just highlight over the area that you did, right click on it and delete it, and then we'll put a push in there instead. See what the push looks like. So you'll drag the push down there and you will run it and see if you like that.
What's going on, everybody?
And it pushes it over like that. And there's quite a few different things. You have a the wipe, which will do like a clockwise motion or a counterclockwise motion. We'll just take a look real quick, kind of give you an idea of different things it does.
What's going on, everybody?
So I don't really care for that one myself, so I won't use it. And you also have the dissolve, which I like. This cross dissolve is pretty neat. So we'll check that out and see what that looks like, and I'll bring this back over and we'll play.
What's going on, everybody?
And then it kind of just fades right into what you're doing. So I'm going to go with the zoom, because that's the one I like, and it keeps it uniform with the other one. And I'll click that in there. So now I've got all of my stuff done. I'll bring it right back down. And there's one more thing I like to do where my music is on my intro, and I will enlarge that again. Where my music is on the intro is right here. And what you want to do is you want to go up here to transition audios, if you see where my cursor is swinging around. And you want to hit that fade and you want to drag it down to the beginning. And I like to put one at the end as well. That way the music isn't all loud. When it gets to the end there, you'll notice that it kind of fades out a little bit.
What's going on?
and then it just makes it a little bit smoother transition. So after you got your video set, that's the way you want it. I suggest you run it through and watch it here and just see how it goes. This isn't going to be saved this way, so I'm not really worried about it. But I'm happy with it, so I'm like, yes, that's what I want. I'm going to go up here to the top right, as you see my cursor rolling around, and hit export. And it will bring up this menu here. When it hits this menu here, you're going to want to go to, say, YouTube, and you will say MP4. It doesn't work. I use a camera to the computer. I don't use a phone or anything to do this, so it's all off a camera. So I hit MP4, and I come down here, I hit export, and then I will just name the video whatever it will be, and I'll just put interview for name, just for sake, time's sake. So I will hit save, and then it will bring it all the way up. It will take, it's looking like it's going to take 14 minutes or so to do that. Once that happens, this will say it's done, so you just hit OK, and then you go up here to the little X. I'm just going to cancel this. And you go up here to the little X on the top right, exit out, and it will say discard or save. You can save it to a file or whatever if you want. I've already saved it to my video file where I put all the videos that I'm going to upload, and I hit discard, and that's it. So that's how I edit videos. It's real simple. Again, it's free. There's so many videos on YouTube that tell you how to do it. I hope this video helps somebody. Again, I really enjoy making these videos. I love this community so much. I love each and every one of you. So if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, let you know when I upload a video. And also, I'm not going to put a card in, but my Teespring information is below. I still have shirts going. Again, people are asking me to keep them going, so I will. And I'm probably just going to keep it going until I get my new design. I'm still waiting on my logo. Artists take their time, but that's because they know what they're doing. I love you all. See me. Bye.